Our entire world has been under a major spell for centuries. Hear me out. Have you guys ever seen the movie called Suicide Squad? And do you remember when they ushered in that witch to show them some things and kind of so that they can see the future or whatever the case may be? But go back to that movie and or not, you don't have to take my word for it. But let me explain something to you. Satan still works for God. Reason why he does is because he has to. He pushes you closer to the Lord. I know it probably don't make sense, but take it back to the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve. And I know you guys may think, well, why did God even put the tree of life in the Garden of Eden, in Eden? Reason why he did that is because our God, he gave us all free will. He was trying to see what were they going to choose. I am your all creator. I put you in paradise. I give you food. I give you everything. It was a test for them. And yes, they failed that test. Pretty much, he gave them the option to see exactly who are they going to follow. Are you going to listen to Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, the person that created you, put you in paradise, breathe life into you? Or are you going to listen to a fallen angel who can't even reveal his face? He has to use a serpent to persuade you. It's no different than what's going on today, y'all. Our entire world has been under a spell for centuries. And yes, there are witches and warlocks in higher places. If you do not believe that, please just understand that the spiritual realm is more realer than this envelope that we are experiencing life in. We're literally just passing through here. This is not our home. And the closer you get to God, he's going to start revealing certain things to you, just like he's starting to reveal certain things to me. Some of our ancestors have made covenants and ties with deities and entities in the past, and they have cursed our entire generations to come. And there is a way to break that curse. You have to give yourself to God. You have to turn over to him and let him take control over your entire life. You don't have to continue to enter the spiritual realm illegally. He created it. And what do I mean illegally? By smoking weed, by doing shrooms, by whatever the case may be. He's nothing but truth. The greatest lie that Satan has done right now is make you believe that God doesn't exist and there is no spiritual realm. Even the witches and the warlocks know that God exists because they can't even do half of the things they do without his permission. And when you are prayed up, they cannot touch you. Trust me, all of this is real. And you don't have to take my word for it. But the closer you get to God, y'all, and he's so real, and he is calling all his children home. The closer I get to God, I feel his pain. He says, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. And it is true. I was under that spell. And he is waking me up. But trust me, go back to that movie, Suicide Squad. Everything that the devil do, he has to put it out in the open. Because God is not going to let his children get led astray. He's going to give you the option to choose. Who are you going to follow? You see this in the movies, y'all. It's not just movies. It's not just a movie. It's not just a movie, y'all. Trust me. There is some connection to the spiritual realm when it comes to music, when it comes to TV shows, when it comes to sports, any of your favorite things. Is all, the name of the game is distraction. Distract, 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 distract. The enemy hates. He hates it when you start to get close to God. I'm going through it right now. Trust me. But come home, y'all. This is not our home. We're just passing through.
I had not seen The Craft in years, and this weekend I was looking for something to watch, and I said, let me rewatch The Craft, but from an evolved spiritual perspective, because I ain't no little spiritual girly no more. This came out when I was little. I ain't little no more. I'm a big spiritual girly. So I said, let me rewatch it with my evolved spiritual lens, and baby, we got some things to talk about. So The Craft is about a group of girls who come together to create a coven, and they use all of their witchy powers to do some things. Now, the coven started out with Bonnie, Nancy, and Rochelle, but they needed a fourth. Now, the fourth ended up being this new girl in school named Sarah, who they saw levitating a pencil. They said, oh, she could be our fourth. Now, they needed a fourth because they needed to complete the 4 quadrants, north, south, east, west, as well as the 4 elements: air, water, fire, earth. Now, after they recruit Sarah, they come together to officially form their coven, but they do this by doing a blood magic ritual where they each prick their finger and they dripped their blood into a glass of wine, and they all drink from it while honoring the deity that they serve, named Mananon or Manon or something like that. Now, I love the fact that they honored the 4 quadrants, north, south, east, west. I also love the fact that they honored the elements: air, fire, water, earth, or taking in the DNA of others, which creates a very strong spiritual soul tie. I don't like that. That was too far for me. Now, at first, the coven was real cute because they was able to do little fun things like light as a feather, stiff as a board, light as a feather, stiff as a board, where they all came together to use their power to help Rochelle levitate. And this really showed the girls that, listen, we could do this, baby. We got some power. We got some workings. And that's when the real spell work began. Now, what I really loved about The Craft is that they showed different types of spells and their effects. For example, you had Rochelle, who did a revenge spell against a girl named Laura had. So basically, that was her revenge against Laura. She took away her ashe, she took her power, while then also making her hair fall out. Bonnie did a glamour magic spell to have her scars removed from her back and for her to be beautiful, and baby, it worked. And Sarah did a love spell on Chris, who was like the cool guy in school that she went on a date with when she first started going to the school. Baby, after the date, Chris came back to the school spreading rumors and lying on Sarah, saying that they had did a little something, but they didn't. So Sarah did like a love spell on him so that he could be obsessed with her, and she could kind of like play him off like she ain't want him. But baby, it went too far. And then you had Wild Nancy, and all Wild Nancy wanted was power. That's all she wanted. She wanted to be mounted by Mananon or Manon, which is the deity that they were honoring. And she kept praying that she would get all of the power of this deity. She was just power hungry, power drunk, power starving. But what they didn't consider was the threefold law. This elder witch who ran a botanica that they went to told them, hey, listen, there's this thing called the threefold law, which essentially states that everything you put out will come back to you times 3. Every spell you cast, the energy will come back to you times 3. And then she went on to explain that this is not just a Wicca practice or a witchy practice across various spiritual beliefs. This idea of the energy you put out coming back to you stands, okay? Some people call it karma. Some people call it the law of attraction. Your thoughts become things. The energy you put out will manifest and return to you. All of it. And honestly, we need to talk about that part. And see, at first, they thought the little spells they cast was cute because they got what they wanted. But baby, the energy started intensifying and things started getting crazy. The love spell that Sarah had cast against Chris ended up leading to him becoming obsessed with her. And I love the fact that they had these 4 different types of spells in the film and showed how extreme the results can get. Even with Rochelle, who did the revenge spell against the racist girl Laura, it made her hair fall out. Rochelle started feeling guilty because she saw how depressed it was making Laura. Now, I ask you, when do you think it's worthy to do that left hand work? When do you think it's worthy to do revenge workings? Because essentially what Rochelle did and kind of what Sarah did was a form of revenge work. Sarah did the love spell against Chris because she didn't like he spread that rumor about her. That's revenge working. Baby, Chris's obsession with Sarah got so crazy that he tried to R-word her. And that's when power hungry, power drunk Nancy stepped in. Baby, Nancy had bought her a little invocation of the spirits book from the occult shop where the elder witch was working. And the elder witch tried to warn her, hey now, you got to really know what you're doing. You're a little baby witch now. This could get dangerous. Nancy said, I know what I'm doing. I got money now. I'm buying the book. And she bought the book. She done took the girls to the beach, had them come together to do this invocation spell. And honey, she got struck by lightning and gained all of the power of the deity that they was honoring. She even started walking on water, baby. It got crazy. But with that power, honey, she became crazy. Honey, when Nancy found out what Chris had tried to do to Sarah, essentially tried to R-word her, Nancy said, oh no, baby, I got to get revenge. Nancy did some glamour work so she could morph into Sarah, and she tried to get some revenge against Chris. Sarah walked in the room and saw it and tried to stop it. Honey, Nancy said, oh no, we gonna get this revenge. Chris was trying to apologize. Nancy got crazy. She started shaking her head.
Now you know American Horror Story is not for the faint of heart. I don't think it's scary, but some people think it's like extremely scary. But the season that I liked the most was the one from New Orleans. I think it's called Coven, and with the black lady, Gabriella something. Anyways, she was the voodoo doll. So basically all of them had their own powers, and that's when they had the Supreme. They had to pick a Supreme, and all of them had their own powers, and she was a voodoo doll. But in the movie, where she was actually having an interview, not in the movie but in real life, she basically said that they had to say some chants that were so real to the point where she basically started getting haunted by Papa Labor, right? Not quote unquote, but for real, according to what she said. So it lets you know, and a lot of directors and stuff will come out and say actually they use real spells in their movies. And if you know, you know. Like for people who know what is going on, we usually, whenever we see a real spell being done in the movie that you're watching, you'll turn the TV off or you mute it so you don't have to hear it, because at the end of the day, your energy is still being used. Because for one, you're sitting in a circle. For two, the person on the screen is chanting whatever it is that they're chanting, and plus the mirrors, TVs, and all that stuff. Because TVs are like a scrying mirror, right? Like one of those black mirrors, scrying mirrors. So therefore, you are present during this thing. So while I was watching the show the other day, so I decided I was tired, because most of the time people watch TV at nighttime when they're getting ready to wind down, because people have things going on during the day, so you really don't have time to watch TV during the day unless like a rainy day and you're just chilling, or you're sick and you're watching movies during the day. Well, let me know in the comment section whether or not you spend all day. I remember when I was a kid, I used to watch movies, I used to watch TV shows basically all day. Now we have so much going on in our life that we don't have time to watch movies or TV shows except when you're getting ready for bed, and by the time you're halfway through, you don't fall asleep. So what happened was I started watching the show. I turned it on and I was so tired. By like episode 1 I was already almost out. So when I finally fell asleep, I think I fell asleep like beginning of episode 2, and episode 3 excuse me, episode 3 is where basically the TV turned off, because I always put a timer just in case I fall asleep, because that's usually what happened. So then when I restart the show again, which was last night, I saw that I was in season 3. So then I went back to where I remember I left off. So then when it got to season 3 or episode 3, that's when I noticed what I noticed, and I'm like, yo, what I just watched in episode 3 was happening while I was sleeping, because I was asleep in the dream realm at my most peaceful, vulnerable moment. That's what I was listening to. And as someone who watches or who listens to subliminal messages or subliminal subliminal sounds and things whenever I go to sleep, because I know what it does to the subconscious when you're sleeping. It helps you to manifest whatever it is that is being manifested in that picture, in the video that you're watching while you go to sleep or listening to. Then that's what it is. So for example, you could listen to money mantras and success mantras and 432 hertz kind of stuff while you're sleeping, because it helps with the subconscious. I'm gonna get to the point. Excuse me. So while I'm watching it, so when I rewind back, and now I'm watching episode 3, which I believe is called When the Bond Broke or something like that. So Emma Watson, she is the main character, and then it's Kim Kardashian, who's the second main character. And you know how in like Hollywood, life imitates art, and they do a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to like children and stuff like that, you know, the adrenochromes and foreskin of children to make anti-aging cream, which is true because I used to work for a company near me. I'm not saying that they use that, but that was rumored to be part of the ingredients allegedly that they use is children's foreskin. And then in this country they basically promote the whole abortion of children, you know, getting rid of them if you don't want them. Now don't get me wrong, if you're in a situation or the way the thing happened and you don't want to keep the child, or you're just not in the position to have a kid, go ahead, by all means, you do what you need to do. But at the end of the day, it doesn't take away from the fact that this happens every day, right? Take children and do the unthinkable to like children, people going missing, coming back with their organs missing and all that stuff, right? So then while she's walking through the hallway to her house, she noticed a basement. So she went into the basement, and that's when she's going through this really dark hallway, and as she's walking she sees like a bunch of storage stands, and on the storages have like jars of children, of babies, like baby parts, arms, head, torso, all of this, but a bunch of different jars, and they're keeping the babies there. And as she's walking, she sees this chair, and on the chair you can basically tie someone down, hold them down, you know, to hug them and do the unthinkable. So as she's walking, going to the chair, because she's not about to go to the chair, but she sees it and she's curious, she's walking towards it. She look at the wall, and there's something written on the wall. Now I ended up pulling my good old handy dandy ChatGPT. That look, ChatGPT, she's that girl, but I'm really afraid that she's eventually going to take over a lot of people's jobs, right? But at the end of the day, that's the reality we live in. So I was like, okay, well, ChatGPT, why don't you tell me what this means? Because something was written on the wall, and faintly behind in the background you can hear chants. It's like a bunch of people chanting over and over and over and over and over. And that's how you got so much about chant, you know. And music, they put subliminal messages in chants under the frequency of the music, so whenever you listen to it, it delivers a different message than what the actual music is delivering, and or whatever the message the music is delivering, it just pushes that 10 times because it has that frequency underneath the hertz of the music. So I was like, okay, well, what does this mean? And this is what was written on the wall. So it says da 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 da. So on the wall it says, I thought it had to say slave, but that's not what it says. It says salve o puri ave santanas vivan liberi domines nosotros. I was like, what does that mean? So then of course our girl ChatGPT broke everything down, and if you tell ChatGPT to go deeper and deeper, ChatGPT will take a beautiful picture and bring her to hell to you. Like I literally she'll get it and change it to like the deepest meaning of the picture, all the way down to like the very very small minute things, right? So I'm like, perfect, let's get into it. So she said, okay, she broke it down word by word. So she said salve. Salve means hell or greetings, because it's Latin. And I noticed that it was Latin the minute that I saw it, because I'm studying Latin. And not because of anything, but I'm on Pimsleur, and we're trying to learn different languages. And so Latin is one, and I'm going to do German, and of course the other languages that I want to learn, right? So I was like, okay, well, salve means hell or greeting. Or puri means oh boy or child, and this is what's being chanted over and over and over again, basically throughout the whole season, because I just finished, I'm almost done with it, I only have one episode left, but throughout the whole season this is being chanted in the background of the show. And then it says Ave, which means hell, so like almost like Ave Maria. We literally have a song in Creole that says Ave Maria, Ave Maria, Ave Maria, come with them, songe longtemps. Anyway, something like that, but it's like in the Catholic Church where they say Ave Maria, as in evocation of situations. And then Santanas is likely meant to be Satanas, Latin for Satan, right? And then Vivian, it says a variation of viviant, subjective, plural verbs, may, they, live, or long live, right? Liberi, which means children or free ones, and then domine nosotros, nosotri, is of our Lord Master. So then ChatGPT continues. She says, best interpretation, hell or oh hell child, hell, oh hell child, Child, hail Satan, long live the children of our Lord. That's what being chanted in the show that people are watching. And don't get me wrong, I know a lot of Christian people who watches Charm Ones, American Horror Stories, The Craft, and all of those shows actually have real spells in them. And if you don't know, you're basically sitting there being a participant of those real spells. Just because you're not in the presence of them doesn't mean it's not affecting you, because at the end of the day, you're sitting there, you're witnessing that, right? So it says different meaning. It mimics religious or liturgical Latin, literal Latin, like Catholic prayers, but twisted it into a dark, like satanic or rebellious chant, right? And it says the phrase invokes Christian reverence, Ave Maria becoming Ave Satanas, and Liberi Domine Nosotri, children of our Lord, would traditionally refer to God. Here it amplifies Satan. Yes, Lord calling his followers or children to live freely or gloriously. Yeah. Now, ChatGPT went on to say this is kind of an occult graffiti or ritualistic slang often used in esoteric goth or satanic subcultures to challenge religious norms or signal hidden meanings, right? So in my opinion, it says that because I didn't even tell ChatGPT it was from a movie. She just basically told me that, hey, this is some sort of occult chant ritual that is being placed in a show that you're watching. And in my opinion, it's saying that, it's a thing to basically mock religion. Not necessarily that. It's not really mocking religion. It's just that's what they basically told you to believe, that anything like that is satanic and demonic. But meanwhile, they're putting it in the movies that you're listening to, or you're watching, or you're listening to. You know how like people will wake up and just snap out of nowhere? Well, it's because they've been participating in things that they didn't even know, they weren't aware of. And for people like me who bring things like this up to you guys, it's mainly because you want to know those things so you can protect yourself, protect your aura and your energy, because at the end of the day, those things are all around you. You think it's people like me who are out here, doing spiritual work, but you got the whole government putting spells on people and no one even noticed. Like, the American dollar is a ritual. Hell, you literally using and putting your energy force using the money, which also has dead people on there, dead presidents on there, so it's ancestor veneration. You also have the all-seeing eye on there, which is the Illuminati, the enlightened ones. And yeah, a lot of people might think that being in the Illuminati or the Illuminati word is demonic and it's like this ritualistic thing, but it really all it means is the enlightened ones, right? So what the enlightened ones are the people who already know that we're being manipulated every single day. The sigils and logos are basically sigils, which is also some sort of a ritual tool that is to basically manipulate your thoughts and your energy, right? Because at the end of the day, everything around us are ritualistic and they're basically all magic. And you saying that, if for example you use your resources and you alchemize the situations in your benefit, you think it's demonic. Meanwhile, you're participating in demonic thing, the same thing that you say is demonic, but you're basically participating in it unwillingly. You don't even know that you're participating in those things when you watch the shows and the movies. Just like I bring up the whole Charm Ones, The Craft, all of those people. I know a lot of Christian people who will literally blindly watch those shows, and they literally sit through a whole spell being done on the show and they don't even know. But then they call people like me who know these knowledges, this information, and I only know this information because I read. And the thing about it too is that whenever I start talking about this stuff or I see anything about it, it literally tickles my fancy, because I like to learn about those things so I can prevent from participating in certain stuff that I don't know that I'm participating in. You know what I mean? Because my thing is, as soon as I see something, so for example, right? Let me give you a perfect example. So the staff with the snake going through it, which also represents hospitals or the medical field. I hope you guys know what I'm talking about, but everywhere you see it, in nursing school, on the books and everything, you'll see the staff with the snake going down it or going up it. So this is what it means. It says origins and surface symbols. It says it's a staff, a rod, with two serpents intertwined. And then it says wings at the top. There's a wing at the top, associated with Hermes, Greek, Mercury, Roman, the messenger god, patron of commercials, communication, and alchemy, right? And the rod of Asclepius, one snake, no wing, is the true medical symbol. The caduceus is usually a symbol of the trickery, duality, and transformation. And the esoteric meaning of it is, it says, now go deeper into the Kundalini energy, secret geometria, duality, and spiritual transformation. The two serpents represent duality, male, female, yin and yang, sun, moon, Ida, Pingala. And Kundalini Yoga, the symbolism of the two energy channels that spiral around the spine. Sushumna, the point where they cross, which is the chakra or the energy center in the body. And the rising of the serpents, spiritual awakening, enlightenment, and divine knowledge, right? Yeah, so everything is basically connected. Just like, you know, the serpent and the snake, or the cross and the snake, which is the medical symbol, also represents the Kundalini awakening, the spine, the, you know, all of that. And it says the serpent mirrors the DNA double helix, showing ancient knowledge of life's code and spiritual ascension encoded in symbols. It says the rod, central axis, represents the spine, or axis mundi, the cosmic axis or world tree. And occultic, that's the channel through which energy ascend from base and strict root chakra to divine consciousness, crown. The wing, symbols of higher consciousness, divine wisdom, and Merkaba, light body. So I said all of that to say this. Magic is all around you. They try to tell you basically, well, we don't know who they is, but you know, basically that your spirituality is negative, it's bad. Meanwhile, they use the same thing behind closed doors to elevate themselves. In the celebrity world, a lot of celebrities, I mean, to the point where I saw that Kim, she was like the main character, one of the main characters. The way she played that character, it's like she knew what she was doing. It's like she's been doing this for a really long time. And a lot of time, life imitates art, right? They tell you a lot of celebrities are method acting. Yes, I understand they're method acting. But at the end of the day, too, a lot of those things, they actually went through on a regular basis. There's one of the characters in there, the man who's married to the lady. His father just so happened to be, his father been basically hugging his mom and doing sexual rituals with her while she's basically unconscious. How many stories about, you know, the Diddy trial where they basically hug people and then do sexual things with them ritualistically to be able to bring forth their fame and their fortune, to use the energy, the life force of that person that's being tortured to bring. So it's like, how do you call this? Transmutation of the energy. And when Emma Watson went in there, she ended up being, how do you call this? They put this gas thingy over her mouth and basically knocked her out, put her on this chair. While she's being tortured, they're pulling some of her bone fluid, like her bone marrow fluid, taking it out. God knows what they were doing with it. But the whole show, they were using her womb to be able to stay younger, to stay for youth, basically, right? And it all started with this other lady. That's how the whole show started. Basically, she sold her soul she basically gave her two twins, sold her soul for eternal youth. And she was eating placenta in the show. Like, she basically ended up eating the placenta of her children's to keep her youth. And y'all remember when I talked about the Kardashians? I remember when I was watching an episode of the Keeping Up with the Kardashians where Kim basically take her daughter North placenta. When she gave birth to North, she kept the placenta and ate it. And there are people who basically will use the placenta to turn it into pills for certain diseases. And I heard, allegedly, this is all alleged, and in medical field, like you can look this up too, you can use a placenta for different things to cure different diseases. And I think Nick Cannon, allegedly, that's what he's doing with all the children he's having, is he's using the placenta to make stem cells, to make like pills. Don't quote me on this, to make pills for his lupus. But basically in there, they were eating the placenta of the babies and eating the children that the moms were giving to them in exchange for fame and fortune in the show, in order to keep them younger. So all of this is kind of connected. A lot of the shows, they do have real spells. And for those of you who think that you're just these perfect Christians, if you're without sins, throw the first rocks for, judging somebody else for believing something completely different. But you're also watching shows that is putting spells on you, because while you're watching it, the spell is being said and you don't mute it, you're also being participated in that. So take that and do what you will.
Stolen isn't yours.
And this is the guy that stole magic from their family centuries ago.
Who are you?
Your blood heir.
Why did you bring me back?
To do what I should have the night you tried to sacrifice my baby.
You ungrateful wench. I gave you more than you ever had. You dare to use my magic?
What's stolen ain't yours.
That's right.
Where'd he go?
The circle was supposed to hold it. We must get him back now. Are you okay? Please.
Those niggas.
Different generations banding together.
Sanuran udo makhuna ijinka urfakhuf
Sanuran udo makhuna Kishinka.
In this video, I'm going to go over the top 5 spiritual movies of all times, in my opinion. These are the movies that you need to watch. You can always feel free and write in the comments below and tell me which are your favorite spiritual movies that you have watched. But for me, number 1, Serpent and the Rainbow. This is a movie that you need to have and watch at all times. My favorite movie, Serpent and the Rainbow. Number 2 is Eve's Bayou. Number 3, Skeleton's Key. Number 4 and 5 are Brazilian movies. Bizarro for number 4. And for number 5, City of God. You need to get these movies. You need to watch them. And if you have watched them, let me know in the comments below which ones you have watched and give me your opinion. And if you are watching this video and you're still not following me on Instagram, go ahead and click the follow button and follow me so you can see my upcoming videos and what I got in my library.
It has been so long since I have seen an audience squirm in their seats the way they did during this horror film. And trust me when I say that this is going to be one of the most intense theatrical experiences of 2025. Bring Her Back is only the sophomore film from directors Danny and Michael Filippo, and yet it feels like they have been playing in this wheelhouse for their entire lives. The film follows a brother and sister whose father passes away, so they're sent to live with a new foster mother. But things are not quite right. Right off the bat, I just have to say, this is one of the more darker, graphic films that I've seen in recent memory. And I don't want to give too much away because it is very mysterious, but I will say that the imagery in this film is so creepy, it is haunting, it is so intense, it is unrelenting. Once it grabs you, it is not letting up. It is like, hold your breath until the very last shot of the movie. It'll be released in theaters May 30th. Go see it.
What they are trying to show you here in this TV show, Lovecraft Country, is Black people using magic to protect themselves from the white people who stole it from the slaves. So here the main character is casting a spell of protection as he fights for his bloodline.
Come on, man, let's just do this before I lose my damn nerve. Sufut Misha, Karlala Basafna. Tuka Sakren, Baskarina, Nagarboza. Ishna Safna. Karinam, Kantulen, Mukara, Kanusta. Stobagadma, Bapui, Mogaranka, Sasaklanan. Haraga, Gadma, Baskoga, Sohonda. Bechomen bekantoka dang safnam. Amen. Well, shit, it can't hurt.
Which truth is that?
Knowledge is power.
Power is power. Seize him. Cut his throat. Stop. Let him go. Step back 3 paces. Turn around. Close your eyes. Power is power.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So tonight we are reviewing the movie Spell. This movie is a little bit older, but it's just as crazy as the other movie that we reviewed, right? So this one I watched on Tubi. You can watch it probably elsewhere, but that's where I watched it. So this gentleman right here, he's basically trying to run away from who he really is. So in the movie, he keeps having flashback of his father basically trying to beat the spiritual culture into him, but he refuses it. So he run away into a big town to become this big town boy. So he got a career, got married to this mixed lady, had 2 children, but the kids keep getting bullied in school, and for some reason they keep trying to get him to go back to his town where he came from, but he refused it because he just hated there. He just had really bad memories. He didn't want to go there, right? So finally one day he just can't take it anymore. The family keep asking him, so he said, fine, we'll take our private helicopter and drive there and fly there, because it's so dangerous to get over the mountain to where where he used to live, right? So finally they decided to go. They took the helicopter, but on the way there they stopped at this gas station because the helicopter ran out of gas, and it was just so eerie. There was this old gas station there, and this man, when he walked there, he saw the man who was selling grigri bags. Grigri bags are like spirit bags where you can carry them for protection or whatever. So he was selling them. He's like, I don't know, boy, if you're going over this mountain, you might want to take some protection with you. But because he's so against spirituality, he just keeps saying, no, I do not want it, I do not want it, whatever. So the man said, okay, well, you do whatever you want, but I wouldn't recommend you go without any protection. But he was so hard-headed, he decided not to go. Then the boy who was outside waiting on his dad to pay the gas and come back, he saw another gentleman who basically was telling him to give him his phone, like a cell phone, because the area where they are going, they literally are so isolated that they don't even have cell phones. I mean, they have regular pay phones, but they don't have cell phones. So he was like, oh, give me your phone, give me your phone. But the dad came out and he's like, no, you're not getting my son's phone, blah, blah, blah. And then finally they ended up leaving. But the way they were looking at it, it's almost like danger was coming, danger was coming, danger was coming. But he's not listening because he's so up there. He's the city boy. He doesn't believe in witchcraft and spirituality, whatever. Then finally, as they're flying, they reached this really, really bad storm that they got into an accident. The helicopter crashed. They die. And he was the only one that survived, right? His kids, his wife, all of them died. And he woke up in this really, really creepy house where he's peeking his head at. He woke up in this creepy house, and Loretta is the owner of this house. So she's trying to nurse him back to health. But literally, she's the only one and a couple people who live in that town. And she's the owner. She's the leader of the church in that town. Part 2. So when he finally woke up from his sleep, he realized that he cannot find his family, and he's stuck in the bed. He's actually chained to the bed, and this lady, Loretta, keeps spraying this powder on him to knock him back out, right? So he's freaking out. He doesn't know where he is. He's asking her questions, but she's ignoring him. She's like, oh, baby, don't worry, my child. I'm taking care of you, blah, blah, blah. So then she go outside and dig up this grave. And from this grave, she take dirt and build like a doll of him. But she used like his semen or whatever. I think it was sweat mixed with semen. And she built this doll. And she put it there to watch him. So anything that she does to this doll actually happened to the man, right? So then in his window, she put salt around the rim of the window. And then she just locked the door and leave him there. So he built the courage to be able to get up, but the salt was to keep evil out and to keep him inside. So then he built the courage and tried to get out, and he go through the window, but it was raining, so the salt ended up being like getting wet from the rain. So he was able to crawl on top of the house to be able to see what was happening outside, but it was already nighttime, so he couldn't really see. But he was able to see that the lady Loretta was holding a church service. So this man came to her service in order to so he can see. He couldn't see. He was missing his eyes, so she ended up sacrificing a goat, took his eyes and raised it up in the air, and this man is like right on top of the house looking down at everybody at the ceremony. Meanwhile, there's all church people, right? They're in church having their Wednesday night service, and this lady is sacrificing a goat and taking his eyes and put it right on the eye socket of this blind man in order for him to see. And somehow he was looking up for the eyes to be able to sit properly in his eye socket, and somehow he saw the guy that was looking down at him, and the guy rolled over so they weren't able to see him. Right, so this all happened, and then fast forward a couple of minutes later, Loretta offered to make him some soup. But this whole time he's asking, where's my family? Where's my family? I have to go find my family. He don't even know that his family is already dead. So Loretta made him some soup, some chicken soup. She said it was chicken soup, but it was bone soup. So as he's eating the soup, she's like, oh, all the answer that you're looking for is in the food. All the answer you're looking for. After he finished eating the food, he put the bones out. So now he's telling her that he should do a bone reading with the bones from the soup. This is something common that we do in like spirituality. You can do bone reading. He started reading the bone, and he started to notice this skin from the meat he was eating is the skin that matches a tattoo that was in his hands, his son's hands. And the bone, come to find out, is his son's bones. He's eating his son.
If you were ever interested in a tale about regional magic, then the movie Spell is for you. Best described by one of the characters as an Afro-Appalachian cult film, Spell is a movie that not only entices, but disturbs. And today, I'm going to be focusing on one of the main characters of the movie, Eloise, no last name mentioned. But before I get into her character, it's Black Supernatural Month, formerly known as Black Witch Month, which means that for every day that I can this month, I'll be covering a Black Witch or Supernatural in movie or TV. And today, it's Eloise from the 2020 movie Spell. Now, Eloise, played by Loretta Devine, is a very enigmatic character. There's no official record of origin for her, and the only thing we know outside of that is she's been around at least since the 1860s, which means that Eloise is over 150 years old. Everything else we learn about her character comes from things that she tells Marquis during the film. And according to Eloise, she's a number of things. A root worker, conjure woman, hoodoo woman, folk practitioner, maestro of mojo, or a magic user. In addition to this, you might consider her a distinguished community leader, but you could also consider her a cult leader. It just depends on how you view her character. One thing we should really take away about Miss Eloise's character, though, is that she's extremely powerful and is not one to be messed with, because Eloise has the ability to use a lot of different magics from a lot of different systems. And I guess that's the beauty of being in Appalachia, which is a culturally rich area. Now I'm going to get into some of the things that we see her do in TV, which makes her one of the most interesting people that I've covered this month so far. So in just about 90 minutes of screen time, I clocked no less than 12 feats from Eloise. Some that are very familiar based on other TV shows that I've watched, some not so much. But in that time, we got to see her use the powder or dust. Like I said, I intentionally did not look that up because I figured it was not my business. The second feat we see is the bookity, which I thought was the most interesting part of the movie and probably the creepiest. We also got to see animal sacrifice, which she uses to feed the bookity and restore whatever ailments are harming her community. She can also read bones, which is something we've seen a lot in different shows like American Horror Story, also in Eve's Bayou. On top of that, we see her do spell work. She creates wards using the salt, presumably. Also, she appears to have some version of immortality. Where she gets it from, I don't know, but based on the fact that she's been around since 1860s, we know that she at least has some form of it. She can heal the sick, ailing, or broken. On top of that, she also has means of divination that include reading the bones, of course, but she also appears to be able to divine things naturally, such as the origin of Marky T and his father. In addition to this, she can use different types of mojos, potions, and charms, which she often uses to knock Marky out or feed him things that will make him vomit, all in an attempt to feed the bookity. Now, as far as her personality goes, Eloise has a very unique disposition. She's friendly yet menacing. She cares a lot about the people in her community, but not so much about strangers. And the word that really comes to mind when I look at her is duality. And that is the word that I would use to describe most of the Black supernaturals that I've covered this week. None of them are singular, one-dimensional characters. And at times, despite knowing that Eloise was intended to be the antagonist, I couldn't help but empathize with her and at times agree with her. For instance, she was keenly aware of the fact that Marquis was part of her same community, magically. She knew he was a root worker and had very strong magics, and he suppressed them in lieu of a better life, basically, in the city. And this is something that irritated her because Marquis really was no better than Eloise. He was just richer and had more money. And so Eloise's behavior towards him was still hospitable, considering the conditions. And yet she couldn't stand him, right? You know, but I could see rightfully so, because he did think he was better than her. And I don't know anybody who would come across somebody like that and not feel a similar way. But let me know if you've seen the movie Spell. I think it's one that was complicated for me, not in the magical feats, but in the dynamics between Eloise and Marquis and the ending, which was a bit interesting. No spoilers there. And if you guys like the movie, please let me know in the comments. If not, let me know your thoughts on the film. And I hope to see you guys in my next video.
The movies have real spells in them. Submitted from Alana in New Orleans. Hey Jenny, I never thought watching a horror movie could destroy my peace, but what happened to me was real, too real. It started on a Thursday night. I was home alone, strolling through TikTok when I stumbled upon a viral post titled Real Witch Movie. They used actual spells while filming this scene. The caption read, "Watch if you dare, but don't say I didn't warn you." I don't scare easily, so I laughed. grab my snacks, and stream the full movie in a sketchy website the comment link to. At first, it just felt like a regular low budget movie, but then that scene came. A woman possessed and chanting something in a language I didn't recognize stared directly into the screen. Her eyes don't look like effects. They looked human, aware, like she could see me. As she repeated the chant, something in my chest tightened. My throat started to burn, like I had swallowed hot ashes. I paused the movie, but the sound kept playing. My screen glitched, pixelating and flashing images that didn't belong in the film. Symbols, dark shapes, a shadow that blinked like a face behind statics. The light flickered. I told myself it was my Wi-Fi. Maybe the site was full of malware. I tried to shake it off and went to bed early. That's when things got worse. That night, I woke up choking. I couldn't breathe, like hands were around my neck. My room was freezing, but my body was sweating. I saw something crunch in the corner of my ceiling, too dark to be a shadow, but too real to ignore. It blinked at me and then smiled. I screamed. No words came out. No sounds came out. For 3 nights straight, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I'd see the chanting woman. I'd hear whispers in my ears in the same language from the movie. Objects started to move in my house. My cat refused to come inside. My mom came over and said that the house smelled like metal and wet dirt. She cried without knowing why. The final straw was my reflection in the bathroom mirror smirked at me when I wasn't even smiling. I was losing my mind. I confided a friend from church. She told me to stop playing around with cursed content and took me to a Haitian mumble in Baton Rouge. The moment I stepped into the woman's house, she looked at me and said, "Something followed you. It came through a door you opened, a door of curiosity." She didn't touch me. She just passed smoke around me with herbs and ashes. Then she whispered a psalm in Creole. I threw up a black liquid right there in her living room. I hadn't eaten anything all day. She told me that the filmmaker had used a real invocation chant from a banished spell book, something ancient. Watching a ritual, even through a screen, made me a participant. She said the energy was feeding off of my spiritual weakness. After the cleansing, the nightmare stopped. My room felt lighter. My home felt lighter. The shadows were gone. But I've never watched another horror movie again, and I never clicked on any viral witch spells on videos on TikTok anymore. You never know what you're letting in. Some doors don't close after you open them. Well, guys, I've been told you guys about movies and stuff. A lot of time they do put real spells in the movies. So yeah, well, this is the submission from someone that's been watching my videos. Thank you so much for watching, Alana. I hope you were able to, permanently banish whatever it was that you allowed through the movies. Well, you didn't allow, you just watched the movie and they just so happened to put something that came directly through the movie, through the screen. So anyways, I hope you were able to get that situated. But it is true that they do put real spells in the movies. You just never know when you're watching a movie what you're allowing in, because at the end of the day, a TV screen is basically a scrying mirror. So yeah, things can come in and go in and come out of. So be careful with those. Anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hey guys, I'm Jenny and this is Shameless Plug. So I want to tell you guys about my Crown of Success manifestation book with easy, simple rituals and spells to manifest a life of abundance in your life. And those spells are so easy, even a child can do it. So this book is filled with different spells that I've learned over the years from my family, passed down from grandma and everything. And also those are spells that I've actually tried and I know that they work. So this book not only teaches you step by step on the things that you can do that are so easy that a child can do it, but it tells you like the proper moon phase to use alchemy, manifesting with numbers, numerology, and also the days of the week that best fit for this particular spell. So it tells you the timing of when to practice the spell, the days of the week, the moon phase. It show you all the colors of the candles that you should be using and different planets. So for example, I show you like planet Jupiter is for Thursdays and the hours of the days that you should be doing the spell. So this is an easy road opener spell. So I know a lot of people like to do like different spell work, but if your roads are blocked, of course your spells are not going to work. So it's good to unblock yourself first and then start using the spell, especially with the new years and the new days to come. And also I have some amazing spells in here. This is a powerful quick money spell. So if you're in a bind for some money and you're just trying to get some money, and I even have some easy powerful spell to win game of chance. So if you are a gambler, now I don't promote gambling, but if you are a gambler and you're just trying to make some money and trying to make sure you win, these spells will definitely help you. It tells you the best days to do it. So it says the best days to perform this spell is on a Thursday, Jupiter day. Jupiter is the planet of good fortune, luck, and expansion. Jupiter is the best day to perform spells that boost luck and increase your chance of success in any game of chance or any money spell, period. It has a list of so many spells that you can incorporate in your life with this new year to bring prosperity. And I even put some bonus spells on here, which for Saturday is a day to do like protection work. So I have a spell for like send back to sender. So I put some bonus spells on here, and then a protection with Archangel Michael. So there's so many spells on here. Removing the evil eye spell, so you can remove evil eye in your money and also in your everyday life. New Year home blessing spell, and I know it's been a few days since the new year started, but you can always do a home blessing spell any days of the week. As long as you need it, you could do it. So anyways, guys, this is my book. It's called Crown of Success by Jenny, and it's available on Amazon, the ebook and also the physical copying. So please grab a copy if you're interested in supporting this channel. This is a way to support the channel and to support me as well for putting out, content every day for you guys to enjoy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this book, and I hope you go and grab your copy, whether it's the ebook or the physical copy. I say have a physical copy, but it's really up to how much, your wallet and what you can afford. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Mwah. This is a shameless plug, so just check out my channel, okay? Love you guys. Mwah.